All right, folks, a very dangerous situation for Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of crypto right now. Do you think crypto is going to survive this? Look at how crazy dangerous this situation is. Look at Bitcoin. It's broken down here and it's trying to break back out, right? Like this major support line since what? This is 1st of May, right? For 4 months of support of Bitcoin, we had that massive breakdown, and it's basically, right? There's been no bounce. There was no wick. It just went straight down to 109K, which is what I was calling for. But I thought we were going to wick down and wick back up. So far, we haven't seen that wick yet. And today, on the Saturday, Friday afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, we're trying to make that comeback. But you know what? It's going to be pretty hard for it to start from what? 108.9, 109.0 to get back to 111.2 to at least get back above that line, right? So if we get, say if we stay under 111 today and then get rejected down tomorrow, that's just another leg down, and that'll take us to 107. And 107 might actually be, major support because we've got this bottom here, a number of bottoms here, tops here. So 107, 108, 109 area might actually be major support. But look, I don't like it. I don't like it as long as Bitcoin's staying under this line. We should be up here and bouncing, not bouncing down here and getting rejected. I'll show you another reason why. And today we're going to figure out exactly where Bitcoin and Ethereum is going. I'm going to show you guys a number of very interesting charts. So obviously, as we can see here, Bitcoin bounced less than 1%, Ethereum bounced 4%, right? 4%. That's led the alts to bounce a lot more. Hype getting hammered, but bouncing 11% today, right? So that's Rose. that's Hype is the main story today because everyone's focused on Astra and Hype and the battle of the dexes, so to speak. So here is Ethereum. As I've been telling everyone, Ethereum really needs to stay above this line, right? Not another breakdown. Because remember, last time we had that breakdown, look what happened, right? Last time, this was the trend line. This was a trend line since May 2022. And you better hold that trend line. Last time we broke down this trend line, this was Jan 2025. Boom. It went from 2,700 down to 1380s, right? It halved. So we better hold this trend line. And I said, look, at least we're going to get a big bounce out here, right? I said 3900s, mid to low 3900s. We got to what? 3871. Okay, slightly lower than my target. Low 3900 is here, and we're bouncing here now. And you know what? We're getting stuck just here. This is 4060. 4060, why? Because you've got, once again, this bottom and this bottom here, right? If we can close above here and confirm 2 or 3 days above, then I believe we're off to the races. Until then, it's looking like the same situation as Bitcoin. We could get rejected here, right? So that's the tough situation we're under. 4060 is the key level for Ethereum to clear. And you know what? That's not actually too different from Bitcoin, because 4060 for Ethereum is like 116K for Bitcoin. Look at this, 116K for Bitcoin. Like if you get stuck underneath here, bad things happen. Like if we got stuck underneath here, like I said here, when we closed here and, down below, and this was a Sunday, I said, oh, this is not looking good. Especially in the weekly, boom, boom, we go down and a small bounce. And it should be bouncing more. But why is it only doing a small bounce like this? Because like today, the news was actually pretty good, right? A few hours ago, we had the inflation numbers came out. It's called the PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure Inflation Data. And they were expecting 2.9% core yearly. That's exactly what we got. They were expecting 0.2% monthly, and that's exactly what we got. Those are pretty good numbers. If the inflation numbers coming on target, then you think we'll have a even bigger bounce. But what's happening to the markets right now? Before we answer those questions, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo he may use. Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. That means even the exchange itself can't see who you are. So that means the IRS can't see you. The Tax office can't see you. FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. Total privacy. That's why Pablo has made this deal with them. Exclusive prize pool just on the Pablo link. Win up to $120,000, right? And look at this. Get 20% bonus just by depositing. Deposit $100 US, get $20 US bonus. Deposit $1,000 US, get $200 US bonus. And just by being in the top 30, by trading volume, you get to win a prize, a share of the prize of up to $120,000. Okay, limited time only, folks. This deal finishes on October 17th. October 17th. Limited time only. And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. Link is in the description below. But if you're watching this on some other platforms, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page, and in there you will see my link tree. There's the stand link, and it should be the first deal that pops up when we click on it. Okay, let's get back to the markets, because this is a great deal. But remember, folks, this deal is only on the Pablo Heman link. Only on the Pablo Heman link. So one thing we should look at is MicroStrategy. Here, I'm going to provide both sides of the argument. So that then we can see what's going on. So this is a log chart, both the bull case and the bear case. Here is MicroStrategy, the weekly chart, and it's on log. This is a weekly simple moving average, right? It's 50 weeks. We can see here 50 weeks. 50 weeks is roughly 1 year. So as we can see here, it's roughly the year moving average yearly. And this was MicroStrategy back in 2021. This is Feb 2021, and this was the eventual top for Bitcoin in November 2021. Tell me, what do you see here? What you should see is that even though Bitcoin went higher, slightly higher, remember Bitcoin was like 64K around March and April, and then went to 69K in November, right? That was the double top. But here, MicroStrategy, which is arguably it is the most important stock for Bitcoin, actually topped early in Feb, and then second top in November was a much lower top. So it went from this top of $129, $130, and this second top was only $88. So wow, that's a big difference. That's like $42 difference. That's what, like one third difference. But most importantly, look at this blue line. This blue line is the 50-week moving average. It bounces off there, bounces off there, bounces off there, bounces off there, and then finally breaks down here after 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces, right? And once it breaks down in December 2021, then bear market comes, right? Until it gets to $13, which is a 90% drop from 130. 90% drop for MicroStrategy. So this break of the rising moving average is very, very important. So what is happening here once again? So as we can see once again, this 50-week simple moving average is basically works once again. Bitcoin goes, MicroStrategy goes up, down, up, finally breaks through and confirms. This is in March 23. It gives the signal that bull market is on. And if you bought Bitcoin in March 23, when it was around 25K around back then, you would be up 4.5x right now. So then boom, boom, we bounce off, boom, we bounce off, boom, bounce off again, bounce, 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 and we bounce off again. And finally here, we're breaking down from this trend line, this moving average, 50-week moving average that has supported Bitcoin for this entire bull run. Here, 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 here. And we've broken down. So then people have got to wonder, is it like this 50-week moving average back in last cycle that supported Bitcoin here, 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 and then we finally break down and we confirm the bear market. Remember, this is only one data point, meaning that just because it happened once doesn't mean it will happen again. But however, as long as this is happening, we do want to see MicroStrategy confirm above this blue trend line. And I'll tell you why MicroStrategy did this. It's because 2 weeks ago, as I was telling everyone, I was expecting the SP 500, Standard Poor's 500 to accept MicroStrategy into its index. So it's basically big enough, stable enough, and has enough earnings that SP 500 would accept it into the SP 500 index. Now, the benefits of that happening is that a lot of people buy the SP 500 ETF. It's called the Spider ETF or SPY, and that's not the only one, but there are others. And when people buy institutions like retirement funds, like insurance companies, when they buy that Spider ETF or SPY 500 ETF, then automatically they don't even know what are the 500 companies that comprise of that index. They don't get to choose. They just put money into SPY, and that money goes towards buying all the stocks within that are listed within the SP 500. That would have been MicroStrategy. Like say something like 0.3% of that money would have come to MicroStrategy. And you might think, 0.3% is not a lot. 0.3% of like $2 trillion going into the SP 500 is a lot, right? 1/3 of 1% of $2 trillion. That's like $8 billion coming, pure cash coming into MicroStrategy. It could lift its market cap by another, right, $50 billion. So it's a big deal, and MicroStrategy did not get in. So SP 500 did not approve for that to happen. That's why we're seeing this rejection here. But you know what? Look, this is just such a move down here right now. It's still a little too early to call. We could still see MicroStrategy fake out and get back in. We've seen that quite a lot. Happens all the time. So what's another indicator we could be looking at? Well, the last few days we've seen this big drop, first from 117K down to 112K, 111K, and then down to this 109, 108K area. And when that happens, we see this spike in this yellow or orange line, yellow line. What does this yellow line represent? It represents Bitcoin futures long liquidation. So the long's getting liquidated. So with this drop, boom, longs got liquidated. And with this drop to 108, 109K, boom, massive amounts of longs got liquidated. That's up to 90 million, right? This time was due to up to 80 million. So something like $200 million worth of longs got liquidated, right? Just by these drops. So this is obviously, that's the argument I've been making for the last 2 or 3 videos. I've been saying that these drops are probably not organic price drops in Bitcoin due to the spot price of Bitcoin dropping. They're probably more exchange manipulations to take out all the leverage longs. And now we can see it here. We see that, these 2 Bitcoin drops makes the amount of Bitcoin futures long liquidations spike up to 80 million, and here up to 90 million. So then folks naturally ask me, well, Pablo, do we think we're at the end of the bull run, or has bear market started? What happens to your blow off top theory? Well, my blow off top theory is here. Here, check this out. I've been saying we should have a blow off top. So this light blue line here with the blow off top is the 1998 to 2001 .com bubble, right? One of the most famous crashes and bubbles of all time. 2023 to now to today, 2025, is this dark blue line. That's the AI bubble. So we have the internet.com bubble, and now we have the AI bubble. And folks have superimposed those 2 charts together, and this is the dark line of the AI bubble charted against the light blue line, which is the .com internet bubble of the year 2000. And so far, like, we haven't been given the time scale, but so far it looks eerily similar. And that gels with my call for a blow off top and then a major end of empire bear market like this. In fact, if we just look at this light blue line, what do we see here? It's actually the model they use for this famous chart, what they call the market's emotions chart. This chart. Do you see it now? Do you see it now? Okay. So basically, they use the NASDAQ 2000, year 2000, for the Wall Street psychology of a market chart. And according to that chart, in 2025, we're actually here right now. We're in belief. Time to get fully invested. And then we're going to thrill and euphoria and the tops. And then basically bounce, complacency. We think we're going to for another new all-time high. And then boom, down we go. So it's, I actually think, yeah, see that chart here. I actually think that's actually kind of close to the situation we're in right now. So I do still think we get a blow off top in stocks. And that's the NASDAQ is showing, by the way, of 2023 to 2025 versus 1918 to 2021 top, right? I actually think that's accurate. If altcoins was going to do, if stocks, NASDAQ was going to do that, then of course you would think Bitcoin would do that, and altcoins would do that as well. So let's have a look at NASDAQ anyway. So here's the NASDAQ. What did I say, SP 500? What did I say yesterday? I said yesterday that we are witnessing a bottoming tail, a bottoming hammer or a bottoming tail, because we had a long wick to the downside, right? So then basically we're expecting it to bottom and markets to turn up. And certainly today we had a big run up, well, very decent green bar today on the SP 500. And this is the NASDAQ kind of similar thing. Down. Yesterday I said, hey, this is looking like a bottoming tail or bottoming hammer, right? With a long wick down here. Next day we go up and it looks like we could be on our way up again, right? May not make a new all-time high, but at least a decent bounce has started. So all of this is looking good in the short term for the altcoins, Bitcoin and altcoin. And so because of this bounce that I spoke about yesterday ahead of time, I don't know what the inflation data was going to be like. I didn't know what the PCE number was going to be like today, but I said, look, this is a bottoming tail. We're headed up. And so far that's following the script. That's just how amazingly how charts work sometimes. So now we have Bitcoin up just over 1% and ETH up over 4%, almost 5% right now. Arrow up 8%, and a lot of coins have started to run, especially Hype. So for the market's very tricky right now. It can change at any time. So I would watch it very carefully. I'll give you guys my freshest, newest updates every day. And so thank you, and tune in tomorrow for the next episode of Pablo in the Markets. Thank you.